for the sprint race here in Durban on the first street track to be used in A1 Grand Prix. It's the series leaders, France, who'll set the pace and lead away from pole position with Great Britain, then Switzerland, a race winner this year already, and the Netherlands yet to score a podium finish. This could be their first opportunity to do that. Ireland and the Czech Republic chased by New Zealand and Brazil on the fourth row. Canada and Malaysia on row number 5. Sean McIntosh for Canada, he's been competitive all weekend. Then we've got Indonesia's Ananda Mikkola, Germany's Timo Scheider, then it's United States and Italy, new boy Max Busnelli. Portugal and South Africa on the 8th row. The 9th row sees Australia and Lebanon. Then it's Mexico and China, and it's a happy new Chinese year today as well for Teng Yijiang. Austria and India are back on the 11th row, and Pakistan will be starting at the very back. And remember, it's not Adam Khan in that car because he had a crash yesterday and unable to race here today. So Enrico Toccacello will be going out in the Pakistan car here this afternoon. It's France versus Great Britain on the front row, the two great rivals. Behind them, it's another European competition between the Netherlands and Switzerland. There we are on board with the Czech Republic starting on the 3rd row with Ireland alongside. They come through the last corner and blast off time. Away we go. Look at Holland trying to get down the middle. The Netherlands trying to take 2nd place, but they now try and sort themselves out into turn 1. And Jos Verstappen trying to get Robbie Kerr. The battle behind has gone wrong for Indonesia and for Italy.
Yes, Ananda Mikkola got it sideways, then Italy had nowhere to go, but the lead is France, Team GBR, the Netherlands in 3rd, Czech Republic 4th. Ireland has dropped back to 6th, having started 5th.
Canada and Brazil were side by side there, but they both got through turn 2 safely, and Brazil is ahead of Canada, followed by Germany.
So there's another car, that's the Malaysia car. Alex Jung, he's also had contact. We assume that was in turn 2 with Lebanon also out on the opening lap.
Well, it was always going to happen, but so the leaders got through there safely. Look at Thomas Enger for the Czech Republic. He's in 4th. The Czechs in 4th. Switzerland 5th. Ireland in 6th place. So Ralph Furman didn't get away particularly well. But Ralph, the side by side, Robbie Kerr for Great Britain goes straight on down at turn 9. Loses 2nd, loses 3rd. He's back in 4th position, and now he's under attack from Switzerland.
Well, he took a massive punch going down in turn 1 into turn 9, and there was a gamble. If he got away with it, he'd been a hero. He's lost 2 places, but it's indicative of Robbie Kerr. He's not here to come 2nd, he's here to take victory, and GBR's first victory. Not this time. Waved yellow flag on the exit, and there we see again safety car now lined up to ensure that the entire field will go single car behind the safety car, and when this car then goes back into the pit lane, the race will recommence, this time line astern.
Well, dramatic first lap as we expected, and the safety car is out at the end of it, and poor Indonesia, they so desperately just wanted to keep that car in one piece to look forward to their race in a couple of weeks' time, but there's contact there with Italy. Nothing much you can do about it in these tight situations. It's a domino effect as the front runners begin to break. Difficult for those in the midfield to get through cleanly, and as they come around this time. Just quickly notice, by the way, that South Africa has gained a few places from its grid position. They're up to 13th place, so the first lap's gone okay for the home team.
So there's the start of the field at the front, just pretty much just put the hammer down and went, but watch Verstappen coming through, trying to split France and Team GBR. Team GBR again brake very late and didn't give the opportunity, but Verstappen is there, and in fact Verstappen probably had just got half a nose ahead, but there was the incident, and Mikkola got his car a little out of shape. Italy was right against the barrier and he found himself nowhere to go.
Let's look in the background, see if we can see the beginning of that accident. Very hard to see. Brazil got squeezed wide. Italy got a...
I think it touched maybe the back of a Mikkola's car, which
maybe
turned him into him.
Yeah.
And consequently, that was the incident.
There was a bump there for the Malaysian car, and then the Lebanon car, I think, was in a separate incident. So let's just run through the order. It's France, the Netherlands, then the Czech Republic, with Great Britain down to 4th as a result of their attempt to take the lead that didn't work. Switzerland 5th, Ireland 6th, New Zealand in 7th, Brazil 8th, Canada 9th, then Germany 10th. France got away very cleanly, John. I mean, they did everything they had to do from that inside position. Really were under attack from Great Britain. And I wondered for a while whether there was going to be a problem between the Netherlands and Great Britain, but they managed to sort themselves out.
Yes, they did. They got very close together, but did a very good job, Netherlands and Team GBR. They gave each other sufficient room to work, and that's really all you can ask of drivers in a racing situation, especially on the opening lap into turn 1. It was a battle for 2nd place, and it stayed with Team GBR. Unfortunately, Robbie Kerr threw it away with a very audacious move down the outside coming into turn 9.
There's been a reclassification, I noticed. You mentioned the USA car was moving up. he has actually gone past a few, and it may be that he's been told by race control that he can do that. The view at turn number 1 as the clear-up operation continues. The Italian and Indonesian cars being witched away, or craned on the back of a truck to somewhere where hopefully they can be sorted out by their teams in preparation for the feature race. Well, we've seen an incident there between Italy and Indonesia, and I think we can now hear what the Indonesian reaction to that was.
John Allen, team manager for Indonesia, any idea how badly damaged the car is?
Well, obviously not at the moment. As soon as we get the car back, we can assess the damage, see how quickly we can repair the car and see if we can get it out again.
How confident are you that the boys can do a job and put the car together no matter what the state is?
Well, it really does depend on the state of the car, but the guys will work really hard to get it out, and we've got all the bits we usually need, so we'll see what we've got to deal with.
And just watching that replay once again, it certainly looked as though maybe Italy was trying a bit down the outside and Indonesia just...
Well, I mean, looking at it, I suspect that Mikola was actually moving from right across to the left and probably wasn't aware of the proximity of Italy, and it was, if you want to play a portion blame, the blame really was more with Indonesia in this instance, because Italy was there and it had nowhere to go. It had the barrier on the left-hand side, and it was a closing gap, and the contact occurred, and I would put it down to Indonesia on this occasion.
4 laps have been completed in the sprint race here in Durban, the first street track race of A1 Grand Prix, but most of it so far has been under safety car because the expected first corner accident did occur. Not amongst the leaders, they got through safely, but in the midfield there was an accident between Italy and Indonesia. 1 or 2 other little mishaps that sorted themselves out pretty much, but those 2 cars did need to be sorted out. Now remember, although this started out being a 20-lap race, there is a maximum duration of 30 minutes, so we will keep an eye on the clock to see how long we've got to go. 16 laps at the moment, but we've already used up nearly 10 minutes for this race.
Yeah, so just looking at the clock, we've got 14 minutes and 17 seconds remaining of this race, so it's going to be a very short sprint race, certainly not the 20 laps that it was initially intended to follow.
And as we get ready for this race to restart, let's see if we find out who's going to use power boost. The Netherlands going for it. The Netherlands, Jos Verstappen using the power boost, so are the Czech Republic, so is Great Britain. France not bothering as the green flag waves, racing restarts. France leads, Netherlands second, then the Czech Republic. Ireland under attack there from New Zealand, Brazil in behind, then Canada, Germany, the United States, Portugal and Australia, and so far so good around that hairpin.
Yes, everybody seems to have got around it cleanly. Delighted to say it was Portugal trying to find a way past the USA into turn 2. There is really no way that you can make an overtaking manoeuvre into that particular corner.
It's going to be a bit follow my leader through this section of the track, no doubt about that. Alexander Premat leads for Team France, but Jos Verstappen is right there with him in the Netherlands car, and up there in third place the Czech Republic, gaining after Great Britain went for that move on the opening lap. Great Britain quite fortunate not to have damaged the front wing when they travelled over the curve down there, but Robbie Kerr's car looks to be in good shape.
The Czech Republic closing right up to the tail of Team Netherlands as they come into turn 9, and Germany, USA start up turn 9 into 10. Much narrower than the entry into 10, and there's that quick right left through 11, then the long left hand corner, turn 12.
Portugal looking threatening on the back of the United States there. Portugal was a little disappointing in qualifying compared to the pace they'd shown early in the weekend. Look how Verstappen's being ganged up on by both the Czech Republic and Great Britain.
It's the Czech Republic are the ones that are on the roll. I think Thomas Enger's got pace. He's certainly quicker on the turn part of the lap than we thought. Look, Team GBR once again goes wide, tries to make the cut back as they come out of turn 1, but unfortunately not sufficient room to be able to get a pass.
Big bump there as they come down towards turn 2. We've seen a couple of mistakes here and people ending up in the barrier on the outside. So far so good in the race itself. Turn 3 and Great Britain still tucked in behind the Czech Republic car, which we're riding with now. We're in third place with Thomas Enger. The view ahead is the orange car of the Netherlands. They've got their best possible result, or best result of the season, in their grasp, have the Netherlands, but can they stay there?
Watch Team GBR now right on the gearbox of the Czech Republic. We've seen Robbie Kerr do a brave move down the outside into turn 9. Will he try something similar? He's not close enough, nowhere near as close as he was to France on the opening lap.
160 miles an hour between the concrete walls, 6th gear, flat out down this section of the track. And to try an outbreak at the end, you need a lot of bravery. It's what Robbie Kerr attempted on the first lap, and it didn't come off. Looking at the USA, still with Portugal behind, then Australia and South Africa. South Africa now in 14th place. We thought he was 13th, but that was what before the USA car was moved, shuffled back up the order. So South Africa currently running in 14th place, keeping the nose clean. And we've got someone in the pits. That was USA, I believe.
Yeah, just dived very quickly indeed. I don't know whether there's a problem. As we look to tell whether it's a drive-through penalty for the Team USA. We picked up that he had been moving forward in the line of cars, whether that's the cause or whether there's another cause. He may have passed before he went across start-finish line at the restart. That is clearly a penalty a driver will have to pay. A simple drive-through, but it takes him to the tail of the field.
So a real shame for Team USA there, and they've got to suffer with a drive-through penalty and rejoin the field right at the back. So up front it's Team France leading from the Netherlands, then the blue, white and red colours of the Czech Republic with the similar colours but in a different scheme for Great Britain running in 4th place, then Switzerland in 5th. Team Ireland are still in 6th place. Not a lot Ralph Furman can do about moving up from there at the moment. New Zealand in a strong 7th, and then Brazil in 8th. You're looking at Australia there, currently 12th. There is South Africa, 13th, and they're just trying to stay out of trouble in these still relatively early stages, although in terms of time, we're nearly halfway through this sprint race already.
Yes, the front 6 basically are just about holding station. All you may hope for is that you can find a driver, makes an error, gives you an opportunity. But of course, remember, the positions that you finish the sprint race in will form the grid that you'll start the feature race in, and that is really key, because that's the money race. That's where everybody wants to be best positioned for the grid.
On board with Stephen Simpson on the South African car. Look how close you come out to the pit wall there, and those guys hanging out their pit boards get a bit of a shock every time the cars come through, and down towards the hairpin we come. First gear for many of the cars, sometimes choosing second gear in race conditions. It is tight, but he gets through there cleanly, keeps off the wall on the outside, and he's got the Mexican car not too far behind, so he's got to keep an eye on his mirrors every now and then.
Well, Team France leading this race, I would say, quite comfortably, but Netherlands, in fact, have had the fastest race lap. Oh, and a mistake just going into turn 5 as we look back to the leaders as they make their way through turn 6 and 7. That's the notorious curve that put out so many people on Friday. The drivers have managed to get to terms with it, and there's been a minor alteration to give them some assistance.
The line we're looking at now being led by Ireland in 6th place, New Zealand in the black car 7th, then Brazil 8th, Canada 9th, and Germany in 10th position, and a slight gap back to Portugal, who was really sliding his way into that turn 9. He did make it through. I wondered for a moment, a little bit of a slide there from Canada too. Sean McIntosh, just the back end of the car, weaving around as he comes under increasing pressure from the German entry. Timo Scheider really throwing everything he can at the Canadian car. South Africa and Mexico come through safely through turn 12 and now into the final bend, turn 13 to complete another lap.
But there is the leader, and still under pressure from the Netherlands, the Czech Republic. Team GBR just dropping back a little bit, and that's probably not you don't want to get too close. You run under the nose or the tail of another car, you lose your momentum. Now, whether there will be a chance to see an overtake from Robbie Kay, he's the only one who's made a meaningful attempt so far. He did it down into turn 9, it didn't come off. He's prepared to take a chance, I suspect, if he can find position.
A new fastest lap now for the Czech Republic, as you can see, a 1:19.7. That's a good lap from Thomas Enger. He's running in 3rd place currently, chasing after the Dutch entry with Jos Verstappen at the wheel. But France still dominating this, controlling the pace at the moment. I'm sure they're probably not pushing as fast as they can. They've got that lead position, the control position, and Alexander Premat's now trying to pace this race.
Well, the beauty of leading a race, particularly on a street track, is you've got nothing but clear track ahead of you. That is, of course, until you come up to lap some of the slower cars. But he can run the pace, he can pretty much dictate the pace. He doesn't have to go flat out literally every part of the racetrack. He's only got to be competitive on the parts of the racetrack where you can be vulnerable, such as you come onto a main pit straight and going down into turn 1. But you can see sufficient clear air between France and the Netherlands, so there is no threat to France's lead.
On the power boost stakes, you can see that quite a few cars don't have much left. France does, but most of the guys behind have used plenty of their power boost opportunities already. Netherlands still has one left. South Africa there just having a little look, not a real overtaking attempt, but getting very close now to the back of the Australian car. So these two countries are fighting hard. It's Will Davison driving for Australia, and of course it's Stephen Simpson behind the wheel of the South African machine.
And they're running in 12th and 13th place.
Yep, and just outside the points, remember you get points down to 10th place. Currently that means Germany is the last point scorer. They're running just a little further up the road, with Portugal as well between them and these two who are fighting away for position. Watch as the race progresses, whether the balance changes on the cars, whether any of the particular cars start sliding anymore.
And they've got plenty of power boost left. They don't need to use it because no one is sufficiently close to give the opportunity that extra 50 horsepower. There's no point in wasting it. You may get a chance later, so keep it in reserve.
Yep, they're waiting for their opportunity to make the most of it, but Australia's just eased away again on this last lap. France really beginning to open up an advantage now. It's 1.7 seconds over the Netherlands, but the Netherlands still on for their best result in A1, but look how close Thomas Enger of the Czech Republic is to that Dutch car.
And as a consequence of this battle for second place, 3 cars really disputing second place, it is giving France the opportunity to stretch that lead. That's just music to the ears of Team France.
Something's happened to South Africa. South Africa's dropped several places on that last lap, and they're down to 16th.
There he
oh
is.
No, what a shame. He's been pushed away in the pit lane. Well, it's a mechanical issue, presumably, for Stephen Simpson. Would you believe it? He suddenly started dropping back from behind the Australian car, and Stephen Simpson is being pushed back into the pit garage, and they cannot believe it in the stands.
Well, disappointment all around the circuit, and you can see just audibly and visually that, well, what they're going to say, what's happened? We want to know. So track commentators, they'll have to find out pretty quickly what the problem is. It may be a gear selection problem and maybe an electronic problem. Certainly all the bodywork of the car is in place. There doesn't appear to have been any contact, so something that hopefully can be rectified in the intervening period before we get the 40-lap feature race underway.
Switzerland running in 5th place. Team Ireland are currently 6th and have just taken the fastest lap. Ralph Furman Jr. is flying. He was quickest in the warm-up this morning. He's showing that kind of pace again, but it's one thing to be quick. Can he possibly find a way past a talented and experienced driver like Neil Yarni, who drives for Switzerland?
It will be a very difficult opportunity. The places to do it on was that a little, watching Switzerland maybe responding to some of the pressure now. Ireland right on the tail, careful not to hit the barrier on the exit, Ireland, because that's what happens when you pick up the pace, you're on the roll. You sometimes just maybe overdrive it, but Switzerland clearly under problem. We
gather that the South African car had a gearbox problem. That is what has brought him into the pits. Bitterly disappointing for the home track man. And let's just hope that they can get him back out in the feature race now. On board here with the New Zealand car, and Matt Halliday's doing a good job. He's running in 7th position here. Good opportunity to score useful points and perhaps more importantly be in a good position for the feature race.
And that rearward facing camera gives you an idea just how close the rear of the car gets to these concrete barriers, particularly on the exit of turn 8.
Fastest section here, then on the brakes. Brazil not far behind him. Nelson Piquet Jr. fending off the likes of Canada and Germany. Still a close bunch of cars here. Behind them we've got Portugal, then Australia, who's now been relieved of the pressure from South Africa. Mexico's 13th, Pakistan running in 14th position. And here we are again, riding on board that New Zealand car. Look how close he is to the wall through the apex of turn number 12, and behind him things are holding up quite nicely between Brazil and Canada, but the race leader already down to turn 1 hairpin. There is the Czech car in 3rd position, and Thomas Enger's had a couple of podium finishes recently, could be on target for another one here today.
Well, he certainly released a little bit of the pressure. He was asserting onto Team Netherlands and Jos Verstappen. You just cannot run under the rear of another car consistently. It's too much, and also your performance will suffer as a result. So he's dropped back. He's just going to get himself into a mood or a position where, watch what happens with the Netherlands. If he makes an error, you're in position to close that gap down.
Watch the speed begin to build up here as he comes down the straight. It'll build up to 250 kilometers per hour, around about 160 miles per hour, and then hard on the brakes once again. The power boost available still to France, still 3 power boosts available to the race leaders. They don't need to worry about it at all. They've got a useful advantage over the Netherlands and the Czech Republic there in 3rd. 4th place still Great Britain. After that lunge he made on the opening lap, Robbie Kerr really hasn't been able to do too much on this street track, but well, that's just the way it goes. Now, we've seen South Africa go out of this race. So disappointing for the home fans here, and let's just hope they can get that car back together. There's no one for them to cheer on now. They'll have to switch their allegiance. I bet there'll be a lot of people cheering for the Netherlands car. They're running in 2nd. And we've got an opportunity now to hear from the Chief Executive Officer of the South African team. Dana Cooper is down in pit lane. Let's hear what she has to say about it.
Dana, heartbreak for Team South Africa. Dana, what's the situation? Say again, Dana, I'm sorry we lost you there. Say again.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yes, but they have identified the problem. Apparently it's electrical and they're working on it right now. We will be back on the track very soon. Oh, certainly, most certainly.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, sorry about the break-up on the sound there, but it's good news to hear that they reckon that they can get it fixed. So the team rushing around the back of the car to make sure maybe they can even get him out in this race, just to do a couple of laps and make sure they have fixed the problem. There are 6 laps to go and 6 minutes to go. So we're not quite, I think, going to get all 6 laps when they're lapping at around 1 minute 20 seconds. So it'll finish a fraction before scheduled distance, but it's all John.
Yes, and I mean Robbie Kerr in place 4, Team GBR, he must be wondering as he's driving around in 4th place, if I'd only gotten ahead of France, I could be leading this race, I could win this race. And I think anybody in the Netherlands, Czech Republic could equally say the same thing. It's very close. The lap times between the top 4 cars virtually identical.
Brazil, they're tucked in behind New Zealand. Not a lot that Nelson Piquet can do. You do have to think that they're not going to take the biggest risks to overtake in this sprint race when they've got a feature race coming up that has that all-important pit stop, where strategy will be a very, very major part when to call the pit stop. So these experienced drivers running up near the front end of the field, I think, are really going to settle down into position here with only a few laps to go and count their blessings. They've got the cars in one piece at the moment, keep them that way and be in good shape for the feature race.
Well, I think the only way we're going to see an overtaking manoeuvre in these closing laps is simply if a driver ahead of another driver makes an error, and that then gives them the opportunity. Nobody, I suspect, is going to take a major punt. And on the 2 parts of the racetrack here, as Piquet locks up the brake into turn 9, that's the second of the 2. The other one clearly is into turn 1, but neither any of the top 4 cars since the opening lap, as Piquet runs another curve going through turn 10, have been in a position to make an effective manoeuvre.
Piquet still following that New Zealand car then. They're running in 7th and 8th places currently. So top 10 position, gets some points, also keeps them in the hunt for the feature race. Behind them, we've got the German car now in 9th place. Big slide there from Piquet.
Well, Piquet has not given up. Team Brazil really want that 7th place. And I mean, he's one of the few drivers you can see who is actually racing, rather than just maybe going around consolidating the positions.
Also, here we've got Switzerland and Team Ireland. That's a pretty close battle still between these two. Neil Yarni versus Ralph Furman, and you're riding on board with Ralph Furman into turn 3, 4, the tight right-hander, and 5, the opening up on the exit there through that corner, drops downhills very slightly, and now through this tight chicane that's been built to slow the approach speed down to the next section. Still pretty fast through here. They're flat out round the right-hander. The car sliding out towards the wall. Oh, and Brazil spun! Brazil has spun out of 8th place, and that will give another place to Germany.
And it's down at turn 1. Now we've seen cars...
He hit the wall.
Touched the wall and turned him round.
Clipped the wall on the inside with that inside rear. Oh my goodness, he was being too careful almost.
Well, in a sense, yes, but of course, you know, you do the same thing you think every lap. All it takes is a 1 inch closer to that barrier, and the barrier will just launch the car around. But I must say, also watching Team Brazil on the previous lap, we saw Piquet getting the tail out. That was under power. This time, clearly just too close to the barrier, and it turfed him into a spin. That's
the beauty of a street track. It's so easy to make a mistake. Look at the leaders coming around now, under yellow flags, of course, to warn them that there's a car in a dangerous position. So they are being wary. There's no overtaking allowed, of course, under a yellow flag.
And that car, where it is stopped, is in a relatively safe place, so would not anticipate in the closing moments of this sprint race to see the red flag and the safety car come back out. And what frustration for Team Brazil and Nelson Piquet. They're going to have to sit there until this race concludes.
So Brazil, of course, dropping down to the back in terms of finishing position. They'll have to start right at the back for the feature race, and that's the last thing that Nelson Piquet wanted on a street race. It will be a timed race. We're going to go run out of laps effectively. It'll be the half hour that determines the mark. But there are smiles and thumbs up again in Team France's pit, because Alexander Premat has driven beautifully once again here today. He's getting ready for what will be his 5th win and France's 10th win in A1GP, despite coming under attack from Great Britain in the opening lap.
Well, he did what he had to do into turn 1, and in a sense he lucked out into turn 2, but he took the centre of the track while that offered up the opportunity for an overtake. it was just too much, and Robbie Kerr, he just took too big a bite of the cherry and lost out.
But he went for it, and that's a good marker for Robbie Kerr. He doesn't give up. He didn't want to settle for second place. He always is prepared to go on the attack.
He's had to settle for fourth.
Yeah, I know, that is the downside. That's the downside. When you make a lunge like that and go for it, you can often come off worse. So that's the choice you have to make as a racing driver, and maybe Robbie will kick himself afterwards. Here we are, great overhead view as they head round another lap, 3, 4 and 5. That is that tight section. And yeah, it's all getting a little closer together. Pramac pacing himself quite carefully, I think, at this stage.
He's dropped on the last lap just under a second to Team Netherlands in second place. Now let's have a look and see Team USA as they come out. Well, there was something obviously happening round. Oh, there it is, and China clobbering the wall. Left side rear, left side front, and a nose. Tanguy Zhang. Oh, and Lebanon, Basil Shaban, and again rear suspension damage. And he comes round, and there were and ought to have been waved yellow flags. Whether Basil didn't see it, clips the rear ring assembly of Team China's car. Lucky that wasn't a more severe contact. Nevertheless, damage now to both cars.
Yellow flags, I think, were being waved, and I think Basil perhaps just came in a little bit too fast. And of course, unlike the earlier spin when Piquet was off the racing line, that car is absolutely bang central on the racing line. And look, South Africa have repaired their car. They're back on circuit.
And the reason they've gone back out is A, they've repaired the car, but secondly, he will finish this race as a running car, and therefore he will not start at the tail of the field in the feature race.
No, it's very, very crucial to get him back out, and I think he had the message there to be careful, because he was very tight to the inside there. France still lead. We're on the final lap now. This is the last lap. The checkered flag coming out in a moment, but will there be any more mistakes or any more changes on this final lap?
Well, they're all coming up to turn 8 where the incident occurred, and of course this field is closing down. Alexander Pramac will have to be careful. There's the waved yellow flag coming into turn 8. Anybody behind may try and take advantage of that by getting a good, and the Czech Republic clipped part of the bodywork, the carbon fibre, from the rear of Team China's car.
He might have fouled. Look at this attack from the Netherlands. Attacking France for the lead. This is for the lead. And Jos Verstappen's trying to take the lead on the final lap. Can he get around? Oh, no. They hit. And Great Britain just gets through on the inside there.
Unbelievable motor racing when it counted. I said watch Jos Verstappen and Team Netherlands trying to take a run off turn 8. He did it. He fought Team GBR. Now they're the beneficiaries back up to where they were as they went into turn 1 at the first lap.
I think the Czech Republic may have a puncture because Great Britain now is second and he's attacking. Can he get past it in the run to the flag? Robbie Kerr is going to finish in second, right behind the French car. And where is the Czech car? I think the Czech car picked up a puncture.
It clipped the back of Team China, certainly got a bit of carbon fibre somewhere. Now we see third for Switzerland, fourth for Ireland, and the Czech Republic nowhere to be seen.
Well, they just crossed the line there actually, John. The Czech Republic did get home in fifth behind Ireland. So what a dramatic final lap. It's France who win, Great Britain second by 0.2 of a second. That's the Czech car, which finished fifth there. He clipped, as you say, either the back of the car or the debris.
Well, I think he clipped the back of the car. There were wave yellow flags. We knew that everybody was going to take a chance because that was the last opportunity on the last lap to make a positional change. Jos Verstappen tried it. But let's watch this all again somewhere along the line. Here we see, this is after they got down into turn 9, side by side, both trying to give each other room to work, but inevitably the back end gets away and the dirty part of track contact. Now I wondered did that puncture the left rear of France? It certainly damaged it. Verstappen nails it, gets the car moving. Robbie Kerr has to go one way, then the other way, and then of course Czech Republic, we'd lost that car somewhere coming down. There's the view looking from turn 10 down to turn 9. That was a hefty contact.
Well, and in the background, look, you saw Kerr get past the Czech car.
Because the left rear on the Czech Republic's car is already flat.
Wow, what a way to finish. Verstappen was on for the Netherlands' first podium finish. He went for the win. Watch it again. This is how it happened.
Yes, and it comes down the outside just as Robbie Kerr did on the opening lap. Side by side, there's not an awful lot of room. The trouble was the dirtier part of the track allowed the back end to get sideways. He tagged the left rear of Team France. He then gets it into first gear, just nails the throttle. But watch for Team GBR there, and this is there, you see the reaction. Jos Verstappen absolutely livid with himself, but at least we saw on the final lap what real motor racing we can expect come the feature race.
Look at the reaction when the Dutch guys, they saw him go for it, and then they saw what happened next. They clapped initially, and then it was face in hands. Wonderful pictures.
but damage to Team France's car. That left-hand corner was covered by the Netherlands, and that team will want to get the car back in it quickly and just check out, because the suspension geometry, the line of the car, is critical to a car's handling.
Well, that was a scare for Premack, wasn't it? Because Robbie Kerr really was able to challenge in the last couple of corners and almost had him on the line. Premack either had a problem with the car, as you say, because of being hit by Verstappen, or he was just being very cautious, but Kerr closed right up to him.
Well, the contact was sufficiently severe that it may well have damaged one of the suspension links in the bottom rear of the car. It could have even broken it. That was the extent of the shunt. Robbie Kerr couldn't believe his luck. Everything came to him. He lost the opportunity to take the lead in the first lap. He dropped back to 4th place, and then the two cars that had overtaken him when he had made that brave move down the outside got it all wrong, and there he was back in 2nd place. And literally, had the race been another lap, I think Robbie Kerr would have overtaken France and won his first race for Team GBR.
Well, what a dramatic end to that race. Switzerland ending up with the 3rd place, with Furman in 4th. Bit of luck for Ireland for a change. The Czech Republic out of luck. They ended up 5th. Then New Zealand, Germany, Portugal, Australia in the points, as was Mexico, which is amazing because they didn't really qualify very well. Enrico Tocacello did a good job for Pakistan, standing in for Adam Khan. He finished in 11th. Sean McIntosh lost out a bit towards the end. I don't quite know what happened to him. USA 13th, then India, Austria, the Netherlands 16th after all that. Lebanon 17th, then China, Brazil, and the people in trouble. Simpson did get back out towards the end. Mikola, Busnelli and Jung. Indonesia, Italy and Malaysia, of course, all had their problems on the opening lap. 10 wins have gone to France. Alexander Premack picks up the gold medal.